Run it.
Okay. I now call the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of County Commissioners from Natrona County for Tuesday, February 4th, 2020 to order. Would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Bertolio?
Here.
Commissioner Chadwick?
Here.
Commissioner Kaufman? Here. Commissioner Mills?
Here.
Chairman Hendry?
Here.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Flag of the United States of America. Which it stands, nation under, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, the guy on the phone is always lags.
All right, it's an honor tonight we get to give our annual service awards. If you're in the audience, we'd love to have you come up and we'd present your certificate. I am going to get my glasses on so I don't screw up anybody's names. The sheriff is going to go ahead and do his, so I'm going to do everyone else's. Yeah, there you go. Okay, 5-year service awards. Michael Heinrich at the airport. Gina Cameron, clerk's office. Lisa Brown, legal. Richard Walker, road and bridges. Wendy Crow, drug court. Reed Faulkner, IT. And Rose Jones, cooperative extension. Are any of you in the audience tonight? All right, well, thank you for your service. 10-year service. Mark Tiffany with the library, Amanda Fink, the treasurer's office, and Angela Berry, the fair. Anyone in the audience? Again, thank you for your service. 15-year service, Timothy McIntyre at the airport, Wendy Stockman, the library, Jackie Broomer, the library, Betsy O'Donnell, library, Stacy Simpkin, district court, Deborah Reed, CSE, Sheila Woods, treasurer. Charles Fair. Anyone in the audience? Okay, 20-year service awards. I apologize if I slaughter this name. Cindy Breepole Bew at the airport. Deborah Nickel, CSE. Pamela Turpening, Road and Bridges, and James Clark with the assessor's office. Anyone in the audience? Thank you. 20 years is a long time. 25-year service award, Miss Carrie Hunt, CSE? Nope. 30-year service award, Coralie Alsbach. Well, thank you again for your service. I'm going to now go ahead and turn this over to Sheriff Holbrook.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Under Sheriff Sellers, would you like to join me at the podium? Thank you. Okay, so these are the 5-year service. Do I need the mic? Do I? Okay, sorry. Our 5 years of service with the Sheriff's Office, Janet Utek, Amy Wright, Tracy Cockerham, Cody Decker, Andrea Florence, Michael Forbes, Thomas Munoz. Nothing? Good. Uh-oh. 10-year service, Corey Brooks, Lisa Lauderdale. No. We can give it to you later. Congratulations. Christina Isaias. Get Christus. Krista Reed. Glad you get bundled up and came. Thanks, Krista. James Hinkle. 15 years of service. Melanie Brost. Taylor Courtney. You want Cassie's too? Yeah. Katie Preciado. Of course, you got Cassie Courtney. Chad Beckett. Now for 20 years of service, Bart Olson. Congratulations, Bart.
Thank you.
And 30 years is Jamie Akala. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and on behalf of the entire county commission, we thank all of you for your years of service, and we're very proud to have you as our employees. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any abstentions or nay votes? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Which brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to address the commission tonight? Anyone in the audience wishing to address the commission? All right, there being none. Commissioners' comments. Commissioner Kaufman.
I do have two things. So most of you know that we're hosting the AOPA fly-in June 19th and 20th out at the Natrona County International Airport. I think it's an event that we should all be very proud of. I think time and time again, they come to our community and they're blown away by the service and the commitment and the questions that are answered and how responsive we are. And I think it's just a neat opportunity to let our destination shine from a local perspective and a tourism perspective. So make sure that's on your calendar to participate in some way, June 19th and 20th. And then the other thing I'll say is okay, I'm an emotional person. There's no surprise there. But I look at these names on this list, and before I was a commissioner, I interacted with the county just from a staff perspective. But as a commissioner, I'm so proud, and I get to see firsthand the work that people do and how much our employees really care about their jobs. And this is neat. I mean, I'm grateful that we do it. I'm grateful for their years of service, but I'm really so proud to be affiliated and associated with the county. So just a neat thing to do tonight, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Chadwick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We go down next week for the legislative session. And as commissioners, what we get to do is we review all the bills that have a county nexus. And I'm part of the committee that actually reviews those bills for presentation to the entire body of commissioners, and that's a total of 93 commissioners. Then we, as a body, the Wyoming County Commissioners Association, actually vote on those bills just like the legislators do. We debate it, we get up and yell at each other, and it's a pretty neat process. And at the end of the day, we have reviewed every bill that has a county nexus and taken a position on that bill. We may approve of it, we may approve strongly, we may disapprove or disapprove strongly, or take a neutral position. So we have been called by the legislature, the most effective lobbying group at the legislature, even though we are not registered lobbyists. All the bills that we consider are carefully talked about. That doesn't mean we have all the information. We don't go through the committee process like they do and have hearings on it. But we do, typically there's somewhere in the range of 65 to 75 commissioners there. So we do have robust debate and come up with what we feel like are pretty good recommendations to the legislature. So if there's a bill that you have particular interest in, you can contact one of us, and we'll try to carry that message. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Chadwick. Chairman Hendry.
I would just add to Commissioner Chadwick's comments. Individually, we are not registered lobbyists, but the association, WCCA, is a registered lobbyist. And so we kind of fall under that with our efforts. So in a way, we are registered down there. The other thing is this storm was quite a storm. It's amazing, but we didn't get much snow at home on the foot of the Bighorn. We got the wind, but Armeno probably got 6 or 8 inches, and it blew so hard right out of the east and out of the north, and it really plugged everything up. Usually we plow the snow for a south west wind, and when it comes in that way, all of our piles are on the wrong side of the road, and it really, I've been in Cave Gulch all day, and I'll be here for another couple hours plowing in Cave Gulch and getting everything going down here. And tomorrow go to Cooper, just south of Waltman, and the next day to Wallace Creek. So it'll be a lot of plowing snow out here, and I think Mike in the county is the same way. I know Mike was in Armeno. I had to go through the houses at Armeno this morning. I couldn't get down the road, and he got there after I went through, and it was really hard. These drifts are hard, and if it's going to blow in Casper, it'll be the same thing tomorrow or the next day, and we're getting more snow coming. So anyway, it's been quite a storm. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for doing this. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry I'm not there.
All right, stay warm. Commissioner Milne?
Yeah, so keying off of what Chairman Henry said, Mike and Gus, you guys out there with Emergency Services, Road and Bridge, thank you so much for what you're doing out there to keep everything going and everything moving smoothly. You probably don't hear it enough, but thank you. Going off that though, the other day I attended the Natrona County Juvenile Justice Planning, and it was kind of brought to my attention, not so much brought to my attention, but finally figured it out myself, that there's a program out there in this county. It's a student court, and the work that they're doing is fantastic, and it's all pretty much volunteer through the district attorney, the sheriff's office, the PD, state parole, all those guys, and many more, YCC, everybody. They're doing a fantastic job for what they're doing. They're taking kids that are in trouble, and they're kind of pulling them out of the district court system, out of criminal justice system, and they're watching the kids, making sure they're going to school, that they take drug tests, that just a whole process, and it's actually having a huge effect with these kids, and they're not being supported financially by us, other than just strictly through the volunteer, the office spaces up in the DA's office. And so I think maybe potentially I'd like to see this up and coming budget year, maybe a small line item. They don't need a whole lot of money. They're getting the support through the state, through a justice juvenile board there. But I think if we just even kicked in a couple grand, it would go miles for them, because they're doing this all on a shoestring, and just it's been in existence for 12 years, and people don't know about it that much. Just between 2017, 2018, they had 248 juveniles go through their system, where they kept them out, they got them through the program, through high school, and during that time, only 8% moved back into district court through committing another crime or having their sentence revoked. So I think it's something we need to take a look at potentially and give them our support, actual support next year. And that's all I've got.
All right, thank you. We've talked a little bit about the legislature, so the WCCA Board of Directors is having annual, weekly calls. Last week on the update, they noted that the number of bills is probably as high as they've seen in decades coming out. There are 83 House bills currently filed, 27 are of interest to the county. For Mike, one call. There's one exempting counties from having to call one call. They range from, a lot of it's just transparency. The Senate side has 63 bills filed, 17 of which are associated with the counties. One that's rather interesting is raising the legal age to purchase tobacco products to 21, and it's getting the support of the liquor dealers, which was kind of surprising to hear. Pretty broad support across the state to do that. Absentee voting, they're looking at adding polling places besides the one that's mandated. A lot of conversation on mineral bankruptcy. The amount of mineral bankruptcy to date for this fiscal year is almost more than the prior year. It's getting worse, obviously, with the state of the coal industry. Over the last several years, there's over $130 million to local governments, local counties, that has not been collected. There's an issue with the Gaming Commission. They want to change somewhat of the taxing structure. It's anticipated that they will be fighting it. It's pretty lucrative towards local governments. 10% would go to local governments. If it's in the unincorporated areas, the counties would get 10%, all 10%. If it's in a municipality, counties would get half of the 10%. The JAC is meeting this Friday. One of the things that they're talking about bringing up is the amount of money that is allocated for local governments for impact assistance. There's some talk about dropping that to 50% of what has been allowed, of the maximum that's been allowed, and some sense that the state might want to take some of that. And with that, I think that's about all. If anybody has any questions on any of these, the Dropbox that's being provided is being updated as things progress. And if nobody has anything else for the good of the order, we are adjourned.